One thing I really love is the feedback sandwich. I love the feedback sandwich because have you heard of the feedback sandwich? The feedback sandwich is when you have to give feedback to someone. You want to tell them something serious, something important. Maybe you have a request of them. Maybe it's something that you want to change. Maybe it's something you want to address. Whatever it is, the feedback sandwich is where you start with something that's appreciation, an acknowledgement, some empathy, some connection, something positive and connecting. And then from that, it sort of sets the ground. It's like nourishing the ground and tilling the ground before you plant a seed. And then you share what's on your mind, what's on your heart. And it's so much more easy for someone to receive that if you've started with something that's acknowledging. And then when you're finished with sharing the challenging part, then you share something else positive and acknowledging. Now, of course, when I first learned about this, which was like in the early 90s, when I was studying facilitation, group facilitation, I would use it very awkwardly. And any new skill that we learn, it's going to be awkward at first, right? And I think that's a beautiful thing in a way. The awkward learning process is beautiful. We often shy away from the awkward stage of the learning process, and then we never really get through to the more smooth and connected skill. I always say that in order to get to smooth, you have to go through awkward, right? And so being able to sit in the awkwardness of the learning is so important. So the feedback sandwich, if it's awkward, it's like, I like your hair, you really bug me, I like your shoes. That's kind of artificial and it's not really good, right? So for example, let's say I want to tell my kid something. Like right now she has a hurt knee and she went to physio and she got some exercises to do, but she hasn't really been doing them. And I want to encourage her to do them. It's kind of like telling her what to do, kind of like telling her she should be doing something different, which I don't like to do. But I also want to share my thoughts on it. So I don't want it to come across like it's criticism, but I also want to be able to share the feedback. So I might say, hey, kiddo, I love when you play sports. She's a real athlete, so she plays soccer and she plays baseball and basketball, and she just really enjoys sports. And I go to all her games. Even as an adult, I still go to all her games. So I might say, hey, kiddo, I love watching you play sports, and it's like such an exciting thing. And when we play catch and stuff together, it's great. And because you hurt your knee last summer, it makes it harder for you to do those physical things and have so much fun. So I was wondering if maybe with my help or something that you could be more regular with your physio exercises. It'll get stronger, and then you'll be able to play more. And then, of course, then we can throw the ball around and we can run and you can play the sports and it won't hurt as much. And I think that could be something really, really positive for you. And I'd love to help you out with that if you want. Maybe we could make a plan where I could call you like a couple of times a week and say, hey, are you doing your exercises? And if that feels good to you, we could do something like that. Or maybe we could plan something else. What do you think? And so, I started with something positive about the sports and how much I love it. And then I shared an idea and a feedback, which didn't sound like criticism at that point. And then from there, I went into some connected problem solving. And so the feedback sandwich is really beautiful. And often when I'm typing a comment, I'll do the same thing, right? Or I'm typing a message to someone, because a lot of what I do is online. And I'll start right away with the feedback, and then I'll back off, and I'll add something connecting or something acknowledging. Like, I really appreciate how hard you work at parenting. It's really hard. It's hard a lot of the time, and I know that you're doing it without a lot of support. And so you're exhausted. And so it's not easy to always, do the conscious parenting principles. And in the midst of that, you're really trying hard. And I see that, sometimes when you're overstimulated, you tend to yell. So maybe if you just take a step back at that point and maybe just put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath, feel the ground under your feet, sense the air all around you. And then you can just have a moment to calm yourself down. You'll be less inclined to yell at that point. And then you'll feel better and your kids will feel better and you can come out of it with everybody feeling more connected. So you can see how I went in with acknowledgement, offered that feedback, and then from there I went into more acknowledgement, what the result of it might be. So the feedback sandwich, when you get good at it, it helps with communication so much. And I do it in a way now. I've been practicing for 30 years. I've been practicing it for 30 years, so I can do it without it really seeming like I'm doing something. But it takes a little bit of practice to do that. So when you're interacting with your kids, when you want to tell them something, take a moment and see if you can introduce it in a way that feels more positive, feels more connecting, before you offer any feedback. And you'll see that the way they were able to receive you with so much more openness and so much more connection. It'll be a wonderful thing. And if you want to learn more about guiding your kids without controlling, you can check out my free course, Guiding Without Controlling, which you can find at meaningfulideas.com. And you can follow me on all the spaces at Meaningful Ideas. All right. Peace out, everybody.